You can watch all the watchJojo videos on your big screen TV via our dedicated Roku, Fire TV, Android TV, and Apple TV apps. Woman makes a living as professional bridesmaid for hire. Every woman looks forward to the day that they walk down the aisle to marry the love of her life. And more often than not, they've already spent their entire life planning the big day before they even meet the one. For other women, though, they've spent more time walking down the aisle as a member of the wedding party and not as the blushing bride. This woman's been through her fair share of weddings, but as the bridesmaid, and instead of feeling sad for herself, she made the decision to benefit from it. Jen Glantz remembers the first time that she was asked to be a bridesmaid in a friend's wedding. She was elated to be given the honor to be part of a friend's wedding. But what started out as a fresh new experience quickly turned into something entirely different. It was the summer of 2014, and Jen had already been asked to be a bridesmaid in 4 weddings just that summer. The weddings themselves were extremely tiring for the young New Yorker, but when you add the travel time and other expenses, Jen was wearing thin. She decided to take some time off for herself, but that didn't last too long. Jen was feeling a bit exhausted from all the wedding hysteria, so she decided to have a little bit of fun on the internet. Opening her laptop, she pulled up Craigslist and began to create a post. Jen began to write about all of her wedding experiences, from the bride's tear-stained cheeks and the bachelorette parties filled with tequila shots and guys in thong underwear twerking way too close to my face. Jen then went on to conclude her Craigslist ad with an intriguing offer. She offered her services as a rental bridesmaid and explained the services that she would provide. She wrote that she could be part of a wedding or just a helping hand. After submitting the ad, she signed off the computer and went to bed. When Jen checked her email the next morning, she couldn't believe what she was seeing. In her inbox, there were more than 250 responses to her ad. She just couldn't believe she was getting so much attention. But was she even serious about her post? At first it was just a joke, but what was she going to do now? Jen made a quick decision, and you wouldn't believe how far she's come since then. In just a year's time, Jen has appeared in more than 100 weddings. And while it seems like a good time, there are a lot of responsibilities that come with Jen's job. Not only does Jen have to appear in most of the weddings, but she has a lot of other duties as well. She works as a personal assistant for couples whenever she's needed. She's not afraid to help make last-minute changes, help write vows, or get on the dance floor to get other people involved in the action. She also makes sure to keep her anonymity during the whole wedding extravaganza. Oftentimes, she'll give herself a new last name or come up with a backstory of how she met the bride. Typically, she explains that they work together or used to be neighbors. You're probably asking yourself what she does with all those dresses that she buys for each wedding, aren't you? Well, Jen does whatever she can to get more than one use out of each dress. She can often be seen riding her bike, hailing down cabs, or exercising in her dresses at the gym. We like it. Jen has made quite the career out of being a professional bridesmaid, and we're not just talking about appearing at weddings. She's also become a successful published author. Jen discusses her incredibly unique journey in 4 books: When You Least Expect It, All My Friends Are Engaged, and Always a Bridesmaid for Hire, and Always a Bridesmaid for Hire, stories on growing up, looking for love, and walking down the aisle for complete strangers. She can also be heard in her very own podcast, You're Not Getting Any Younger. In each show, Jen talks to people just like us who woke up one day and decided to make major changes in their lives by starting with baby steps. The conversations are filled with humor, advice, and life tips that cover topics like love, failure, being an entrepreneur, and self-care. But what about Jen's love life? Is there anyone out there for her? Jen does have a loving fella named Adam, and while there are no wedding plans, she says that if she ever chooses to get married, she's going to ask her previous clients to be bridesmaids in her own wedding. Sounds like a great trade to us.